Hi, welcome to Advance TV.
I'm Bardia Housman, and I've got some ideas on how to survive the first 6 months of being in the US.
What's the first thing you should do when you land?
Assuming you've come on the appropriate working visa, I think one of the key things in the US is to actually get your social security number. I've seen that number hold so many people back from the different things that they need. But other than that, a great place to work and a bunch of people that can help you with those first initial steps is really what you want to be focusing on when you first land.
How important is it to do your research before you leave Australia?
It's very important. I think you need to know, you're a businessman, you need to be a smart businessman. So I think you'll quickly discover that people are very open to talk to you. People who obviously have moved across before you. Reach out to them. Reach out to one guy and he'll connect you with another 5 guys and talk to them. I think it's important to make a couple of trips to understand what the landscape's like. It's one thing to say, well, I know how my business runs, but your business in the US market kind of runs differently or can run differently. So to have good, smart people around you is a good thing.
How far ahead should you plan?
If you're coming to the US, you want to make sure that you can live, you can execute on what your objectives are. So how far should you plan? Funding is key. Understanding what your business strategy is and what you're trying to do is key. So all of those things will affect how long you should plan. And being in a startup, things change every day. But for myself, I always had a short-term, medium-term, and a long-term plan.
How important is it to have contacts here before you land?
I think it's very important. For me, I didn't have a whole lot of contacts, but I had some really good few contacts. I think the sooner you can feel like home, as in you can land here and be able to pick up the phone and talk to people or have coffee, the sooner you're going to be able to become effective in your job, in building your business. So I think it's really key, and it's actually a lot easier to establish that network than it may seem.
Can you rely on other expats to help in your journey?
So there's a very large Australian contingent in Silicon Valley. I probably didn't think there would be when I first came, but there is, and they vary in experience from the stage of business they're at, and again, one person can lead you to another person. So yes, I think the Australian expat community, particularly in the tech industry, is very, very useful and can help you.
Should you expect setbacks and failures within the first 6 months?
I think it's part and parcel of building a business. I think it's it's the same sort of setbacks you've probably had on day one, first year and second year. You're going to have setbacks in the US. I think one of the biggest rides you'll go through is just learning the system, understanding how this country works. It's as similar as it is to Australia. It's very different. People work differently. So I think that's the biggest thing that you'll go through in the first 6 months.
How do you survive the competition in the United States?
The thing about competition in the US is that, from my experience, they're very focused. US technology companies tend to focus on very specific problems and address that. And I think Australian companies seem to be a little bit more general. So in one sense, that's challenging, but I think on the other side, the US market is just so big. So I think, yes, it's challenging on one side, but just the upside is so massive that if you execute, you can just build a tremendous business.
What were your major challenges in the first 6 months of landing here? My
biggest challenge was the fact that I'd been a business owner for a long time in Australia, and I thought that I could come here and set up a new business, and that wasn't quite true. Corporate structure was different, employment was different, employment terms and how you pay and health insurance was different. All of those things I had to learn from the beginning. So I think having the right team of accountants, lawyers and so on can help you with that. Getting staff on board was also very difficult. It's highly competitive. So I think some of those things that don't seem like they're going to be a challenge are actually there's a bit of a learning curve that will take you probably 6 months to learn and get over it until you can really execute on your business.